Hi guys, I'm Michelle with the Recipe Bandit, and today we're going to be making creamy pesto pasta with scallops. The best thing about this recipe is that it sounds so fancy and it's so not fancy. This is a restaurant quality dish made with really easy ingredients. And honestly, the whole thing takes about 15 minutes to put together, which makes it a great weeknight meal, but also makes it something that you could make for a fancy dinner if you wanted to. And this is all we need. All of these ingredients, that's all we got. That's all we need. All right, so let's talk about them really quickly. So for this recipe, you are going to need a pound of scallops. And scallops are sold in the grocery store over by the frozen shrimp. They're usually frozen. We thaw them out before we use them for this recipe. They're seafood, but they're very, very neutrally flavored. They take on the flavors of whatever they're cooked with really well, but they still give you seafood and they're still really yummy. So go figure. You're going to need some pasta. We prefer angel hair pasta. We have done this with thin spaghetti. We've done it with regular spaghetti. You could do it over fettuccine if you wanted to, but we've found that with the scallops and with the creamy pesto sauce that we make, the lighter pasta, and makes it a lighter meal. You will need some whipping cream, some heavy whipping cream, or just heavy cream. Sometimes it's called, depends where you live, it's called different things. You'll need some flour, some salt and pepper. You need 2 tablespoons of regular butter. You can use unsalted if you want, that's fine. You're going to need a 1/4 cup of basil pesto. Pesto is a fantastic thing. It's just packed with flavors. It's basil and sometimes pine nuts, sometimes almonds, usually cheese. It's just, honestly, it's so flavorful. And this is going to flavor this whole dish, just this little bit. Normally with pesto, you can find it in jars. If you don't use up the rest of the pesto, just freeze it. We freeze it in 1/2 cup increments in the freezer, and then we just pull out whatever we need whenever we need it. And it's a great way to have it on hand all the time and not have to worry about using a whole jar. Finally, you need some capers. I used to skip these. I'll tell you right now, I used to skip them because I was like, I don't even know what these are. But capers offer the perfect little salty, acidic finish for this creamy sauce. They balance the seafood, the creamy sauce with just the right little hit of salt. And don't skip them. That's all I have to say about that. Don't skip them. So this recipe, once you have all of these things assembled, doesn't take very long at all. We are going to get the scallops ready. We're going to fry them. We will make the cream sauce in the pan, and while we're doing that, we'll be cooking the pasta. So let's go ahead and get the scallops going, and I'll show you what we're doing next. So let's go ahead and get started with the scallops. We have just a tablespoon of flour, and we are going to put it into a bowl, or shallow bowl. We have our salt and pepper. We're going to put 1/2 of our salt and pepper into our flour. And then all we're going to do is just drop our scallops in. I like to do them a few at a time, push them around so that they get coated in this flour, salt, and pepper mix. And they don't have to be heavily coated, just lightly coated, like just like this. And then I set them on a plate. They're ready. We're just going to fry them. You don't need a lot, but this step really does make a difference. So once these are lightly dredged in flour, salt, and pepper, they're going to look like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fry them up in a frying pan with some butter, get them all nice and brown. That'll be our next step. So our next step is going to be to bring a large, generously salted pot of water to boil in preparation for boiling our angel hair pasta. So we'll get that going while we go ahead and start making the sauce. We are going to melt the butter in a large skillet over medium-high heat. Now, once the butter starts melting, we'll go ahead and set our scallops in. We're going to cook them 2 to 3 minutes per side. Now, once our water is boiling over on this side, we'll go ahead and add our pasta and get it cooking. You'll want to stir that occasionally. And don't forget to put on the timer. And you can see they're starting to get brown. All right, once they're slightly browned, you're going to want to remove them from the pan to a plate. They're kind of like shrimp. They don't take very long to cook up. All right, for the next part, you're going to want to whisk in the heavy cream and scrape up all of those brown bits on the bottom. You're going to bring it up to temperature, and we're going to get all of the heavy cream stirred in, and then we're going to add in the pesto, the capers, and the remaining salt and pepper. You see all those brown bits there? They really make the sauce really delicious. So you don't want to add all of the heavy cream all at one time. You add it a little bit at a time while you're working the bottom of this pan to get all of that brown goodness up. And then your sauce is not going to burn. When it starts to bubble, you can add some more. Right. We'll finish with the heavy cream now. So this is all of our heavy cream is incorporated in. We're going to go ahead and add our pesto and stir that into our sauce. And we're going to add in our remaining salt and pepper that we had from the very beginning, and our capers. Like I said, those little capers just offer just a little pop of salt that really complements the seafood when you mix it with the pasta. We are going to cook this for 2 to 3 minutes until it's nice and thick. You can tell the sauce is thickening by the size of the bubbles in the sauce there. You'll want to stir it occasionally while it thickens. See, it kind of thickens up almost like gravy. And you have a nice creamy sauce that's going to go over this pasta and these scallops and just make a wonderful meal. That looks pretty good. I think we're going to go ahead and take this off of the heat now and get ready to serve. Now that we've made this beautiful cream sauce, and it really is. I mean, it's got basil and got capers, salt and pepper and heavy cream and all of that brown baked goodness from the bottom of our pan after we fried our little scallops up. We have pasta that is already, it's cooked and ready to go. And now we are going to go ahead and make our plates. All right, so good hearty bit of pasta. This is why we use the thinner pasta, because I always serve too much. I make pasta for a village. Then next up, we're going to add some of these scallops that are tender and buttery, delicious on this pasta. And now this delicious sauce. Spoon it over the top. And when you put it all together, it looks like this. It is so good, you guys. With the scallops and the angel hair pasta and that creamy pesto sauce with the capers. Honestly, it is restaurant quality and it's super easy. So absolutely, you should try this one, 100%. I want to thank you guys for joining us here today. The recipe for this creamy pesto pasta with scallops will of course be on our website at therecipebandit.com. It is also in the description, just like it always is, so that you guys can have it really easily accessible to you. If you like what we're doing here, please come back and see us again. Come back and see us. Come and let us know if you try any of the stuff that we make. We're putting out new recipes at least once a week now, and we would love it if you would come back and see us. Be sure to like and subscribe. Turn on notifications so that you know when we put out new videos. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.